Yes, it's true. We have to admit it. It's correct. Since a few days, Planet Juve is on a honeymoon. Honeymoon between the Juventini of the world that are holding hands with Igor Tudor, walking together, jumping together, singing together. Everything is beautiful. Everything is fantastic. Pushing away probably a bit the reality, the negativity. At the moment, we are focusing on the positives. And if the giant from Croatia was able immediately to convince the vintage older Juve fans from the moment that he stepped into that car in Split, going and doing 1,100 kilometers to join La Continassa, well, he needed a few more days to convince the other Juventini that probably were a bit skeptic. After yesterday's press conference, a long one, 34 minutes long press conference, where he convinced also these ones. He took them on board because yesterday he spoke Juve. He didn't speak about Juve, he spoke Juve. And that's the title of Tutto Sport, Parole di Juve. He said the right things, the things that we Juventini we were looking for, that we were awaiting for. These words were so impactful. It was extremely beautiful, showing that Juventinità, that black and white DNA. Io sono Juve. I am Juve. Do you remember the first words that he said when he arrived to that training center to the first players that were there? He said, we are Juve. Yesterday he told us, I am Juve. And nobody's doubting about that. Absolutely not. Especially when you saw the backstage story on Juventus YouTube channel where he says, I got emotional when I spoke about Marcello Lippi. He was really emotional. Look, yesterday in that press conference, especially if you were able to watch it live, you will get emotional. If you didn't yet, if you can't understand the language, please go back to my YouTube channel because I made a recap of that video. But unfortunately, guys, now it's the field that we need to speak. It was beautiful, but yesterday he said it himself, Igor. Yes, it's great that Juventinità, that black and white DNA, fantastic, eh? But being Juventino alone, even if you are the biggest Juventino on earth, will not be enough. Niente scuse, no excuse, because now it's the day before Juventus Genoa. That is extremely important and that will bring us back to reality. Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe. Welcome back on the channel. I hope you're all doing well. So we already spoke about that honeymoon for 2 minutes, but now it's the reality. So how will we play? How will Igor Tudor play? We already have the first draft of the first possible lineup of tomorrow, Juventus Genoa, and if it's not tomorrow, it will be in one of the next games. We already have some inside information that from here and there we are hearing. The most important thing is before going towards what will be the formation in terms of model, schedule, etc., more than the players, what will be the first principle of Igor Tudor that we already touched upon it. More aggressivity, intensity, and more vertical play, something that we blamed the ex-coach or our ex-way of playing. We were playing really horizontally. A lot of possession, that is also one of the fundamentals of Igor Tudor, keeping that ball, but instead of going horizontally, we go vertically. And vertically, that's where a lot of our players were totally lost. They were there. We are thinking about the Teun Koopmeiners, totally isolated, waiting for a ball that never arrived. Now, verticality will be extremely important for him. How could we possibly play? Well, we know it, huh? Dusan Vlahovic. Dusan Vlahovic could be the center of the 9 remaining games of Juventus. For the future, that's another discussion, because there, Igor Tudor, he can do anything about it. He can love the player, he can dislike the player, he can let him play. Even if Dusan Vlahovic is scoring 3 goals per game in the 9 remaining games, well, the problem there is not that much the performances of Dusan, but the contract, and that's a total different discussion. But on Gazzetta dello Sport, we know it, that Tudor is voting for Dusan Vlahovic, like he is pronouncing it. If you didn't yet, please put a maximum of like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and let me also say thank you, because since this morning we reached 36,900 Juventini of the world, that close to go to 37 and then 40. 40 is the bare minimum for this channel. So let's go with the first draft of the lineup. Di Gregorio will be in the goal. It would be really harsh to change goalkeeper now. It would be, I think, psychologically a total disaster. Then if Perin can play in the 9 remaining games, probably yes, he will play a game. But here Di Gregorio is the priority as a goalkeeper, and he should start tomorrow. Kalulu, Gatti, and Renato Vega to form a 3-man defense. At today, there is no certainty if we really will play with a 3-man defense already from tomorrow. It can be because of The fact that he doesn't know all the players yet, that he didn't have a lot of time, he will be a bit more cautious and secure, continuing with a four-man defense and then adapting when he will have a bit more time. But from what we hear, he's already starting to train, to ask some movements to go towards that three-man defense. So it could possibly be that we already see that three-man defense tomorrow. Again, if it's not tomorrow, it will not last long. But if we go towards the first possible draft of lineup with the information that are coming from La Continassa, Kalulu, Gatti and Renato Vega could be there in the three-man defense, with Kalulu a bit more on the right side. Gatti at the center here. Could also possibly be that there is a change there between Gatti and Kalulu, even if I don't think so. And then Renato Vega a bit more on that left side, also because he's a left-foot player. Now, Locatelli, Thuram, they don't leave the field. They stay there. There are, according to Tudor as well, two of the players that gave a bit of stability also with Thiago Motta. And if these were a bit of the certainties that we have, why changing them? Even if we are changing way of playing formation, these two, they start. Capitano Locatelli has been confirmed. Next to him, Khéphren Thuram. That we know with yesterday, that funny story with Lilian Thuram that if he doesn't behave, bam, bam. He said, no, he's a fantastic guy. He's a fantastic guy. He's a fantastic baby. Really well educated. Lilian Thuram. We know it. I already saw him when he was a kid. Anyway, that's a different thing. Then we go with the really big news. And it is that, as I already told you and anticipated you in the last few days, Nico Gonzalez has been asked to give a bit more availability to play further from the goal, playing as a wing-back, a bit the regulator, the one that will go up and down, and he could start not anymore on the left side like he was actually playing in the last few games, like few weeks with Thiago Motta, but playing on the right side. So Nico Gonzalez on the right as a wing-back, and on the other side, a surprise, Weston McKennie. McKennie that could play there again on the left. Why? Because Cambiaso will maybe at max being on the bench. He will not play from the start. There are also some chances that he will not even travel with the team. We are playing at home, but you know what I mean. So McKennie could be on the opposite there. Why? Because we know that Renato Vega loves to go up, leaving some space behind, and also there a balance is important with McKennie that could possibly take his spot there. He already played a few times at left back this season. With Nico Gonzalez that will have more possibilities to go up because Kalulu is a bit more down. So pay attention to that way of playing. Up, Kenan Yildiz and Koop Meiners, both of them as number 10s, we can say. Not only one number 10, but two number 10s behind Dusan Vlahovic. That could be possibly the lineup that we could see in Juve Genoa. 100%, we don't know. Let's see. Today they will continue to train. Tomorrow, a bit of test in the morning, while actually Tudor would already have decided which one they will go in. Dusan Vlahovic at the center of the attack. That will be an important one. A lot of expectation of Dusan. My advice to Dusan is do the things normally. Do what you can do. Don't put yourself too much pressure. Don't do things because you want to prove Igor Tudor that he was right, that you are the best striker in the world. Don't put yourself a hat trick in mind. Think about playing simple. Do your game. If you have opportunities, go on target. Try to score, of course. But that's what you need to think. Don't put yourself unnecessary pressure. All of the players are under discussion for the future, not only you. So Dusan, calma. Can we see Dusan with someone else than Koop Meiners Yildiz? Yes, it could possibly, because it could be that Koop Meiners should sit on the bench with actually Colomwani that would play in that role behind Dusan Vlahovic. If not, in a 3-4-1-2 with Yildiz behind two strikers, depending on the movement. So that's another possibility that we could see, or from the start of the game tomorrow, or during the game, maybe already in second half. Who will receive another chance? It's not only Dusan Vlahovic, but also Kenan Yildiz. Kenan Yildiz that, unfortunately, in the last few weeks, we saw that his smile was disappearing. A player that always said, I am at the disposal of a coach. If he wants me to play there, I play there. I give everything I have for the club, for the colors, for myself, for my career. I love that position as well. I have no problem with that. But always a silence Yildiz that in the last few days, we saw his smile disappearing. Well, at the moment, at today, Yildiz will have another opportunity with another coach, maybe being a bit more closer to the goal and seeing going with goal contribution. It will be important because at the moment, Kenan Yildiz is the second most valuable player in Serie A in terms of future resale on the market. The number one there in a really research from CIES, is Lautaro Martinez, that is worth value estimation of 108 million, and then you have Kenan Yildiz at 90 million dot 4, so 90.4. Marcus Thuram is the third one, Reinders fourth, Bastoni fifth, etc., etc. So we see players from Atalanta, from Inter, a lot from Inter, unfortunately, even Santiago Castro that is entering that top 10, with Rafael Leao on the 10th position for most valuable players in a possible resale, so on the market. Well, can Kenan Yildiz surpass, go over Lautaro Martinez? A lot will depend on him, and also the position that will he have on the field, and that's why I think it's a really beautiful opportunity to play with Igor Tudor. Who's risking? Who is the player that we didn't speak about in today's video? It's Francisco Conceição. Could he play in that 3-4-2-1? I don't know. It's true that without the wingers, a lot will be a doubt because a lot of investments has been done there on the wings. Conceição is at risk. It's something that here on the channel we spoke about already since a few weeks, even without knowing that Igor Tudor will be the coach of Juve. But already with Thiago Motta, we were already thinking, will Francisco Conceição be the player that Juventus will go and buy or pay that clause so that he will be permanently a Juve player? He was a doubt. We spoke about it, if I'm not wrong, with JFTV Luca. We spoke about it with Haj. We spoke about it with Marco from IFTV. We spoke about it with a lot of guests here on the channel. Well, today, Nikos Kira is going with a big one. This morning he said his future at Juve is a doubt, not only because of the new coach Tudor, which we just explained, but also because Juventus has no certainty to play the Champions League. So the Champions League factor will be extremely important. Another one that the future is a doubt is another loanee. It is the name of Kolo Muani. Let's see how much he will play with Tudor. You know that he said in that interview when he was banging goals, when the impact of Kolo Muani was fantastic in the first 5 games, he said in that interview, look, I need to be loved, I need to be appreciated, I need to be there at the center of the attention as well. So it's a player that needs that trust. If he receives that trust, everything can be possibly open for the next season. Another loan of Kolo Muani, talks that already were ongoing between Giuntoli and Campos, the sporting director of Paris Saint-Germain, so a loan with then an obligation to buy, but that will be important. How Tudor will see the Frenchman. Yesterday he spoke really well about him also in press conference. If you go towards that 3-4-2-1, he will play maybe in another role. If we play towards that 3-4-1-2, he can play a bit more up front together with Dusan Vlahovic, something what the people were requesting, the Juventini were requesting. Another player that is really at risk, and I think there is no way back, unfortunately, because I really wanted him to succeed, is Douglas Luiz. Douglas Luiz, there is a huge big interest from Nottingham that will probably play Champions League next season. Edu, sporting director that was at the time at Arsenal, really is a huge big fan of the Brazilian player, and he would love to take him. He would love to take him with him. 45-50 million euro is the first request of Juve. Will they be able to take that money back? Big questions. Now let's see, but I don't think there is a future for Douglas Luiz at Juve, like there will be no future for Arkadiusz Milik at Juve. Unfortunate season for the Polish player that again had another small injury. That's what we hear, a small muscular injury, and now the voices are saying that he will probably not play a single minute in 24-25. Were some Juventini still counting on Arkadiusz Milik this season? Probably no, but when it's a reality, look, I'm really sad for the guy. I'm really sad because an entire season in the career of a player is huge. After losing also the Euro with Poland, it should be mentally huge. On the other side, we knew it, and that we were going towards a possible contract break at the end of the season, so that Milik could go towards another team, maybe where they will have a bit more patience, because we know it at Juve, there is no patience. This is what Igor Tudor said yesterday. There is no patience, no excuses, no patience. We don't care that we are young, that we are injured, whatever. We need to go with results, and this is what we need to go for tomorrow in the first game in the era of Igor Tudor, Juventus Genoa. Grazie ragazzi for your follow, grazie, forza Juve.